1968, George Romero made the classic zombie film Night of the Living Dead. It defied everything of what was known of horror at the time, put the Hays Code out of existence, along with Bonnie and Clyde, and made what we know now of as the modern zombie, one that has an appetite for human flesh, rather than a mind-controlled Haitian slave. It's a bona fide classic. Eventually, talks of a remake were brought up, but not for the reasons you might think. Due to the fact that the original was public domain due to an accident, Romero never received monetary gain for the film. He eventually won a lawsuit over the rights, but the distributor went out of business before he could receive any money, as well as the fact that Romero didn't want a shitty, unauthorized remake of the film. He learned that 21st Century Film Corporation was interested in a film, so Romero, along with John A. Russo and Russell Streiner, decided to work on a remake. Tom Savini also wanted to do the effects for the film due to him being unavailable for the original film, but Romero persuaded him to direct the film as well. The production was a complete and utter nightmare for Savini, as he butted heads with producers a lot when Romero was not on set. He had a lot of ideas for the film, and most of them were shot down, and later stated that only 40% of his ideas for the film were used. As well as the fact, to avoid an NC-17 rating, Savini had to cut several scenes from the film, and it resulted in a movie that didn't gain a lot of praise when initially released. Unlike Dawn of the Dead, I think this is a worthy remake of the original. I think Dawn's entertainment is equal to this one's quality, if that makes sense. Despite its production problems, it definitely is better made and better executed than Dawn is. Dawn is pretty much a less interesting and more generic zombie film, with the Dawn of the Dead name slapped on it. Here, due to the fact that there is a ton of talent involved who cared a lot about this franchise, this is better quality-wise. The characters are just as interesting as they were in the original film. Tony Todd is amazing as always, and gives a bit more balanced performance compared to Dwayne Jones, who had less flaws to his character, was more stoic, and more of a leader. Here, I feel like Ben didn't have all the answers, was scared like everyone else, but was better at hiding it than everyone else. Patricia Tallman as Barbara had more of an arc in this film than in the original film, and isn't as badly written or performed. Texas Chainsaw Massacre alum Bill Moseley had a smaller part as Johnny, and the supporting cast of characters all did a good job. I feel like this version of Harry had more of his anger and flaws accentuated than done previously, and came off as more of a bastard in this than in the original film. Tom, Judy Rose, and Helen were very forgettable, similar to the original film. The story plays out very similarly, almost shot for shot with the exception of a few changes and modernizations. However, it mostly plays out very similarly. It definitely feels a lot slower than the original film and drags in some areas. I also think that Tom Savini meant there to be more moments satirizing the original film, mainly because Barbara has a couple of lines stating that the zombies are so slow moving that they could just run in one direction and probably be safe. I feel like this is more of a statement on the fact that zombies might not be a threat in real life if they were this slow. But there are only two lines stating this, so I feel like that it wasn't explored enough, or it was one of the things that the producers cut from the film. I also think that the cinematography is a lot better and the house is creepier because of it. I definitely think it's a worthy remake and a good zombie flick. However, it probably would have been a lot better if Tom Savini's vision hadn't been desecrated.